basically, we are going to be listening from our biggest guest that we have in the house. Keep it glued to West Nile TV because we are here to light up the region for you.
All right, another interesting one coming right there. And of course, joining us is Mr. Khamis Ayub, who of course very many know. I should say is a disciplinarian and has a lot to say. He's an instructor. He will be telling you which instruction he gives, a lot in there. But again, he sits in, that is the CPD of that is the region. I'm talking about West Nile region. A lot of decisions that they keep making concerning, of course, the football of West Nile region. So a lot is there. Mr. Khamis, welcome, and probably I should say you're not a visitor here. It's been always like home, and I feel great hosting you right today.
Really, thank you so much, Owen, and thank you so much, Susie. And allow me to say good afternoon, viewers. Yes, I'm a homeboy because I'm West Nile. The fact is that I'm a West Niler, and therefore I'm in West Nile TV, and therefore I'm a homeboy.
Yeah, true. So we're going to be discussing mostly the discipline of the game. I remember the last time I was almost giving him a session here, so that he always keeps coming to teach people about the football, including the refereeing aspect and the rest. That was, I remember 2021, we talked about that. 2022, we had part of it. We have even not finished our lesson that was supposed to be there. Next time, I will bring him to give us also more. I think we shall discuss and see where every time you come in, at least once a week, we talk about the football management, the football officiation, and how it is right there. But for today, it's so different. As I talk, he sits in the CPD, very many call it CDP, I don't know which one is which, but it's okay. In that, meant to know you have very many already concerns or cases to handle, which are over 9+ cases to handle, and yet the regional league is still going on. Remember, West Nile TV is a partner to the regional FA that you see most of the time these games are live. Now, why we brought him here today is not to talk about what they are going to maybe to amend or to the verdicts that will come out in the cases that are there. Today we are talking about the discipline of the game. What does it take for us to change the look of West Nile football, and what, because he has been an assessor, you will tell us about most of the times in your assessments, different places you move. Maybe you've even moved past Uganda, past Uganda, past the West Nile region games, but this time round, let's focus on the West Nile region, because most of the times I feel it is so similar that these issues happen, or issues concerning in discipline always looks similar, or it is one thing that comes in there. So let's come to this. Looking at West Nile, ever since the regional league started, we have had several indiscipline cases in that is the region. In your own assessment, when you go for the assessment of these games, what causes this?
Thank you so much. Thank you, Owen. And that is a very beautiful question, and it's a very wide question. And I would love to bring to your attention that in West Nile, we are running an association football. And in association football entails the following things. Association football is run with the laws of the game. Association football is run with the rules and regulations of the game. Association football is run with the directives. Association football is run with the policies. And association football has codes and ethics that must be used when we are running this association football. And one thing I've come to learn when I came as a member of the CDP in West Nile region, and indeed there are several cases that are coming in. And for a while have been a member of Ethics and Codes Committee at FUFA level. That means I'm trying to see the way how things move in West Nile. One fact I want to make categorically clear to viewers is that I don't have any team. And my only team in Uganda is Uganda Cranes. And that is the only team I have in Uganda. And therefore, if you associate me with any club, then you are going astray. Because my only team in Uganda is Uganda Cranes, and that is what I have. So I have come to realize some of the indiscipline cases are as a result of lack of knowledge. People do not know the laws of the game. People do not know the rules and regulations that governs the championship. People do not know the codes and ethics that must be applied in these games. And that makes people to make a lot of mistakes. And to the extent that so many cases now come in place. As I'm speaking now, I think we have in offing 9 plus cases that are coming in. And when you look at these cases, you'll realize that teams and the team managers do not know what exactly they do. And whenever they go and do, when we come to read the rules and regulations, they are telling us that we are reading laws of them. That is because they do not know what exactly is supposed to be done. And that is the reason as to why our teams are making a lot of disciplinary offenses. When you go in, you must know if I do this, what will it cost me? What will
the
it
implications.
cost me? And you need to know. So people do not know, and that's why people are having that. Really, there is a high magnitude of indiscipline in management of football in West Nile. And that is why at a certain level, we are not progressing very far.
True, true.
If we do not instill discipline in ourselves, in these games, we'll not be able to go very far. Who are the persons who are managing the players and who are managing the games? What is their level in management? This helps a lot because a manager who does not know the rules and regulations of a championship would want to take things and decide things in his own way.
True.
And yet we are running an association, what? Football.
Football, yeah.
And the association football runs with rules and regulations. Association football runs with the laws of the game. And the FIFA rules and regulations put it clear. The FIFA games will be run as per the FIFA laws of the game.
True.
And if you look at the personnel, what amount of laws of the game do they know? You find somebody coming to give instruction to a player that will cause the team, and will, at the end of the day, the person utters and says, I lose nothing. And he doesn't know that the team will lose a lot.
True.
You see? He doesn't know. Hey, what will happen? Yesterday, Batwan, I was in a game. I was assessing. They called me abruptly, and I went to assess a game. It was a derby.
Yes.
It was a derby in
Paida and Paida Black.
Yes,
Eagles.
by the Black Eagles. And I came to officers and I was telling them, the rules and regulations have spelled out clearly the personnel that are going to be in the technical bench. And when I was telling this person, do not be here because the people who are supposed to be here are people who are supposed to be in the technical list and they are supposed to be on the technical bench. And should you do anything here, it will cost the team.
Yes.
And the man is able to boldly tell me, I'll lose nothing. Even if we lose this game, I'll lose nothing. Can you imagine that? Then I looked at the person, I said, what knowledge does he have
about
in the games?
games?
You see? That's one thing that is. Now, we need to get down and see how best we can educate our people. If we are getting to association football, what have we got to learn? What have we got to do? So that we can put the team in the right track. This is one of the things that we need to do.
I think that's the cause now. I think that's one core cause of the indiscipline, let's say most of the times the hooliganism that happens in the game, because you've talked about the indiscipline. That means there's still several characters that keep happening. And that is one thing we have always talked about. Before maybe I get to you, Susie, one simple side that you should say is about the discipline or not knowing the football. I remember we discussed something here. what in your own idea would be done to make sure that what he has told us should be ironed out? How does someone come into football without the knowledge?
Exactly.
So that's one big thing that maybe we should really fight and make sure that it works out. But again, this is happening. What measures have the people, now you are already a sports, let's say, technocrat, who has been in this for quite a long time.
Yep.
And you know the rules and regulations. You know the management of the game. From, I love the fact that from refereeing, from the aspect of management, because there are different sectors in management or different departments, that probably you could. Let's have a feel of how does one even become an instructor?
All right, anyway, first of all, before we move there, that's true, but indeed it is true. I must put it clear here. Let the viewers understand that we still have a lot of gap in the management of our football and the game that we love as Western Islands. You see, you go into a game, you'll see an officer, a manager, does not identify the technical offenses, and they cannot differentiate the technical offenses with the non-technical offenses.
True.
They can't even identify. And the person will come and begin to talk, and not knowing that's a technical offense. Leave alone that. What about the situation of football understanding? Do you know the football that is being played? This is another thing.
I said
But
recently,
anyway.
I was like, the ball itself, we look at it in the outside surface that is glittering and it's nice. But inside the ball, that's where the football is. Because the dirtiness in the ball is what you now need to understand. What is this ball developed or made out of? And someone could be anyway, sorry to cut you short, but that's what I was telling our viewers recently, a few days ago, because of incidents that is over happening in West Nile. Now, what should we do to make sure this part of understanding the game, knowing the game, should be achieved? What should we do as West Nileans?
As West Nileans, one thing is we need to do a lot of capacity building. If we are unable to do capacity building, we will not be able to progress very far. One thing is that the region must take it upon herself to make sure that the football managers must be taught how best can we do this. Must be best taught to understand the various things that are involved in association football. We must be enlighten them on how the rules are managed, what are the laws, what are the regulations in the ground, what are the policies that have come on ground that can be able to that can allow us to manage football. When you look at the rules and regulations, there are provisions for disciplinary actions to be taken.
Yes.
And even people are unable to know that if I do this, there will be a disciplinary action that will be taken against me. For example, somebody can mean to conceal information pertaining a game knowingly, unknowingly. And if you conceal an information pertaining that game, knowingly or unknowingly, you are supposed to be sanctioned and be penalized as per the codes and ethics
of the game. Okay.
And at times, minimally, you can easily be punished 1,000 UAS. And now you compute 1,000 UAS. This is what a team officer will lose and a team will lose. This is another thing that we need to know. So, it is very, very important for us to get time to see people who have already shown interest in the game, we educate them. we build their capacity to know and to understand what is supposed to take place.
Today we're talking about understanding the football and of course the discipline of West Nile football, and probably you should be part of that engagement. For those who are following through the streams, you can go to the Facebook and drop your comments, ask question to him. We shall be reading through so that he can also answer, because I don't want this side of being a partisan and someone's like, okay, yes. This time round he's a neutral figure and he's talking about West Nile football discipline. So Mata E. Ya ikadre mabedi asase ne miamane pare ndondo amine ya danse second se channel ndondo Maria ikadre Facebook wani imoda esizita mine to zirare is ya matia wadia ikabine to de YouTube wana askonse abavene rende nezukene iketo the TV ma second subscription of Korea Robia kadrio meto de mivone sim mali ogogora nezukene mi uduko ba mabe. Hey, West Nile is what I'm talking about.
Yeah, but you had asked me a question.
Yes.
What does it take for you to become an instructor?
Of course, that's
for
what
you
we
to
shall be
become
coming to.
an
I
assessor?
was just making we shall be coming to that because there's still a lot of things. We are going to be taking a break at, of course, a half, and then we come for that because there's still a lot that we really need to talk about in this 1 hour, and we're already 25 minutes. That means we are left with around 35 minutes to go. But all in all, there's a loophole I've seen in that is West Nile, where you I feel they start or anybody who, let's say Susie has money and Susie feels like she can support football, starts a team in the first tier of the league in Uganda, which is the 5th division. Then Susie comes up because she really has the passion for the game. Sets up a team. Team goes on very well up to now the regional level, but goes in there without understanding the game. Then bumps into the league, buys a team that is already established, then fails to handle the team because of lack of game management or game knowledge or the football knowledge. Now it comes to most of the times you're seeing that these teams don't exist for long, because because you've not understood the game. Now, what should be done for such people, such investors who would really love the game, or they love the game, they have the passion for the game, but they can't have the best way to run this club? Because if Mr. Kamis, just an example, I have my money, but I've come to you because you have stayed in the league for long, and you again, because you have stayed and if I don't know the game, you can tell me, oh, and I think so-and-so is the right person, this, basing on whatever you think. And this kills the game. So what advice would you give to an investor who would want to invest in football? What advice or what would you give to them?
One fact here is that you need to understand why did he choose to invest in football. Okay? Now, once you have gotten that, you need to make him understand the challenges that comes in football management, the dynamics that come in football management. He should be able to adjust as per the dynamics that will come around in the football management. It is not always good for somebody who is sponsoring a team and goes into the team and begins to tell that I manage this team myself. He should be able to get technical persons who will be able to manage this team to his interest and to his vision, who will be able to achieve his vision and why he's putting money there. And he should be able to get the right technical personnel to do that. Then he will be able to progress.
Rating from 10 to, 10. Let's say from 10. How many people in West Nile are technical about the game in West Nile?
I really can't, I've not taken time to have that data. I've not taken time.
But because, you feel there?
Because Yeah, they are there. They are there. They are there because we even have some coaches that have gone to another level. That have gone to another level. CAF B, CAF C, they have. But what some of them lack is the discipline, a personal discipline in how best you can behave when you are doing coaching and you are doing this and that. And you will find that there are several of our coaches who are at that level and they can't progress to go far because of indiscipline. That's one thing and that's one fact in West Nile. We have good coaches. They can't progress because of discipline. And if a coach is not able to instill discipline in the team, then the team will not go far. If a coach is not able to make the team to understand the laws, then the team will not go far because a game is a game of law.
I'm quite sure. Yes. I'm quite sure in most of your assessments or technical people encountered a lot of such people. There are those that you surface with one-on-one and you're like, yeah, this one understands. And then there are these ones that you surface with them and you can be literally able to understand whether someone is in the know or someone does not understand. So I want you to make us understand how you normally handle such people or how you deal with them or what at the end of the day you conclude about them.
One thing I have already done, and I chose to do it because there are members who have retired in the refereeing profession and in the footballing thing, and they felt that they must be somewhere else. And they chose to say that they need to do assessment in the game. Yes, a course were conducted by FUFA and they went. And after they have gone to attend the courses, they become an assessors. Now, when they came back on ground, I chose to look at how they do the assessment. And when I realized that there is a little bit of gap in how technically you can do things in a better way, I had to organize a conference and sitting with them, and I said, this is how it is done. This is how we'll be able to do. This is how we should do it. One thing I'm playing that West Nile could do is, why can't we form associations? For example, the coaches association. And if we form the coaches association, we will now be able to come and help and mention to them where their challenges are. How could they be able to develop their profession and their coaching? That's one thing. So if you can be able to have the coaches association, the players association, of course the referees associations are there. You see, these are some of the things the way can
for the referees already. I see they already
yes,
have.
they are there.
Because these days, even if you're taking a referee for just a friendly game, you need to request from the association so that they give you the right people to go and officiate because of that.
One thing you had asked me here is that how do you help a person who comes to invest in sports, in football, and what do we do? And I said he should be able to get the right people, and these people must be composed of in various departments. Now, one thing that people have ever forgotten here, I summoned the team. And I asked the team to bring for me the CEO, the chairman of the team, the chairman of the fans, the chairman of the security. Now, when these people arrived, and when the chairman arrived, and the chairman came and I asked, have you come with the fans, chairman? Have you come with this? And he went out. Then they began to discuss. They didn't know that I was hearing what he said, okay, now you go and pretend you are the fans chairman. This gives me a picture clearly that people do not know what they're supposed to do. And that is why there is a lot of hooliganism in the game. Because the fan chairman is unable to convene the fans meeting and what we are supposed to do.
True.
Sometime back, we punished on the Paraka FC because fans misbehaved at the stadium. And the only option was to move the ground away from here, and we took it to Bobo. You see how it can cost the team. Now every day, you are playing your home match in Bombo, and you have left your local fans who will not be able to afford transport, but who can afford the gate fee. You have left them here.
True.
You see, these are some of the gaps that we are having. So we need to let people know exactly what they are supposed to do if we want to instill some discipline in them. And really, what role does a fans chairman do to make sure they support the team in a positive way? Does he go and mobilize team to rise against the match crew? Now, if this is a fan who is going to guide to mobilize fans to run against the match crew, then at the end of the day, the team will lose.
True.
And you have managers who are always coming here to protest the referee's decision, and the laws of the game have said the referee's decision must always be respected. And this is somebody who will be contesting a referee's decision, and a person who does not even know any single law of the game. You see, this is what I'm saying. So we really need to do a lot to make sure our people understand how things are done.
All right, let's take a break. We'll be coming back. It's getting interesting because we need to understand and, of course, know the laws of the game, ethics, and yeah, we shall always be getting there. But, of course, the discipline is one key thing, and that's what we are talking about today. About West Nile region at large, because we have seen a lot of indiscipline cases happening every day in the games that we watch in the West Nile region, from Jumani up to Pakwach. You're seeing a lot of issues coming here, and we are coming back to talk about the refereeing aspect. We're coming back to talk about the contact of that is the players or the infield players. What are some of those issues that could cost, some of the things that could cost them in case they misbehave, and then how the CDP was, the CPD was formed in that is the region, and how does it work? How does it do its work? Because we also aware that there is the disciplinary panel or the disciplinary committee, in fact, in the West Nile region. So how do the two work? Who is supposed to report to who? Those are some of the things we shall come back and know. But I can still tell you, just keep yourself right there by that is tagging up and dropping your messages, dropping your comments right on our, of course, our Facebook, WhatsApp, and Twitter right there, even the YouTube, so that you can be part of it. Let's take a break. We'll be right back.
West Nile TV, lighting up the region. West Nile TV, lighting up the region.
Welcome back from that break. It's still West Nile Television. We saw time live on your screen, and it's still Owen Ezaga, Susie, and of course our guest today happens to be Mr. Ayub Akamisa, who of course has a lot to tell us. And interestingly, I guess you're enjoying the show wherever you're watching it from. And now one of the biggest thing is how sweet the waters could test after understanding at least some part of the story. But all in all, let's now come back to the refereeing aspect. That's one area very many people say sometimes this chaos, the hooliganism, the indiscipline is caused by the actions of the officials, including you, the match assessors, who sit there and you don't give maybe what is expected in the report. Let's look at West Nile's officiation team. How far have you rated them ever since the new team, and of course those who have been in the system have gone out to, of course, make sure that the games go on? Well, let's start with the rating. Where do you rate the current West Nile region referees?
Thank you so much for this wonderful question. One fact is that I have assessed, I think, around 4 games in West Nile. I'm a national assessor and a national instructor. I've always been in the Premier game, and for me to say that how the West Nile referees are faring, I needed to take still more time to assess more referees.
But you trained them.
However, the referees that I've assessed are doing some credible job. They're doing some good job. And I've been impressed with some of the work that they do. Much as there are some technical errors and human errors that they do commit. But to a greater extent, our West Nile referees are doing good. And that's the truth of the matter. They're doing good. And the complaints that teams have been raising is because of lack of knowledge of the game, of the laws of the game. That's one thing. But I want to thank West Nile TV for trying to see how best they can record our games and they can put it on TV. And my only prayer is that if the management would get some money and add on more cameras, which will be able to record the game at various angles, and when as an assessor I need in that game and in that incident, I need a technical angle of the game and of the camera to see a technical decision that is taken. That will be better. So my prayer is that the management gets fund and gets more cameras that can be used to record the matches. Indeed, our referees are doing good. And I'm very grateful that the number of young referees that are coming up, and I would love to encourage the DFAs to prepare more young referees. You know, football of nowadays is being played by young boys and young girls, and the games can mean to be very fast, and therefore it needs a very young boy who can be able to cope up with the pace of the game. If you come and I'm not an older person, you bring me to the game, do you think I'll be able to run like I used to run?
No.
Where the incident is, I'm already there. The proximity matters in seeing and identifying the fouls that are committed. And therefore, we need more young referees in this game that will be able to help us in the management of the game in a better way.
Okay.
Performance of the referees
The
now.
performance of the referees. The referees are doing a great job. That's the truth of the matter. With a few areas that needs to be improved. One thing I must say is that if the region could take an initiative and make us to organize some bit of programs to train or to build the capacity of referees, it will be better. One of the things that they should be able to do is in every game of the region, there must be an assessor.
Which is not...
Why do we assess? We assess to rate the officials. As we are rating the officials, we look at the marks. We look at the rankings. We look at the promotions and development of the referee. We look, these are the areas that we look. Now, what do we consider in the development of the referees? We should be able to provide an information for a referee to realize his strengths and his areas to improve. We must be able to do development in such a way that there is a uniformity in officiation, in the interpretation of the laws of the game. It must be uniform. If today Susie has gone to officiate a game, she has taken a decision on an incident, and tomorrow I come to take a decision on the same incident, like the game that Susie has officiated, and I have taken a very different direction or decision, then there is already divergence. And yet these are all referees.
True.
And therefore, we must be able to develop referees to do an officiation in a uniform way. That's another thing that we need to know. Why do we also need to assess? To give a motivation. We must be able to motivate the referees, and we must be able to encourage the referees to do a better job.
Okay.
So if you are able, if the region is able to appoint assessors on ground, this will make us our referees to do better.
Yeah,
because there will be somebody who will be able to guide as a parent, motivate, encourage, and develop him, and also rate him for the promotion.
That's now where, of course, that's now where the question of how does one become an assessor? What does it take? Because
all right.
do you just choose it's Owen there, it's Susie there, or it has something to be done?
An assessor is a technical officer in a football game that knows and can interpret the laws of the game and look at the game. As he's looking at the game, he can look at the game in the eyes of an officiating official. Therefore, this must be somebody who has had a number of experience in officiating the game. This must be somebody who must have gone to another level. You know, in refereeing, we start with grade 3. Then we go to grade 2. Then we go to grade 1. And at least if this person is able to reach these levels and reach up to grade 1 or to FIFA badge, then this person is fit to become an assessor. Now, you cannot become an assessor just to say, okay, I've achieved all these levels, then I let me retire from refereeing and I become an assessor. No, you must be trained to be an assessor. You must be trained to know what you're supposed to do as an assessor. Okay. That is how you can become an assessor.
So the more experience you have, the more
the
chances,
level you have gone,
the level you've gone, the more
that means
chances.
the knowledge you have in the laws of the game. That means then you train as an assessor. Then you become an assessor.
How often do the trainings for the assessors come?
That depends.
Is it also a course that you need to go?
Yes. That depends on FUFA. The FUFA has a program, development programs. And normally when they have a program for training more assessors, they always put it on air. And they always put the program. Then you saw interest, you apply. And this time in the management of FUFA, because several issues have been regionalized, that means a region can also suggest that, Owen, we are going to send you for assessor's course. And the region will be able to send you an assessor's course. Now, I am an elite assessor in the, among the best 10 assessors and instructors in the country. I'm not bragging, but I have to be
yeah, true, but you're talking about the reality.
Yes.
It's the reality.
So, I was sent by FUFA recently in February to go, because the level at which the assessors and my colleagues in Tessa sub-region and Nango sub-region are doing was that, okay, say, Ayub, go and build their capacity and tell them how things are done in this area.
That was money.
Then I had to go.
It was money, no problem.
And we as West Nile, we can even do our own thing here.
Exactly.
But unfortunate thing is that at times our people of West Nile, when you're a son of the West Nile, they look at you, they keep out the other kids. And they have forgotten about the knowledge that the person can pass to his brothers and sisters. They look at him, these people here. Okay, yes, these are some of the things that...
We're already running past time. Let's look at another angle of the story where, of course, we need to understand between the CPD and, of course, the disciplinary committee that is also in the West Nile region. So how was the CPD formed? Most of the time I'm seeing when it is now an appeal that gets to, I think, I'm not trying to understand it very well. How does the CPD work? And how does the disciplinary committee work in the West Nile region? Because I'm seeing two things that they will say, okay, the clubs are going for disciplinary case and before the disciplinary committee. I don't know who sits there. Then most of the times now when they again appeal, you see now the CPD, that panel now comes in there, an external panel that comes in there. First, break it out.
One fact that people must be able to understand that is CDP is an independent committee that is formed by the association, like West Nile Association. Had to form an independent disciplinary panel. That's why we call it CDP, a disciplinary panel. And I found myself in the disciplinary panel being appointed. The association will look at persons of integrity, persons of knowledge, who can be able to help them in this department. And they look at them, they appoint them, and they seek at the consent of the person. I can say, Owen, we would love to put you in the disciplinary panel. Would you love to help us in that? Please, can you come and help us in that? Yes, then if Owen said, okay, yes, I think I'm good in this area. I have a little bit of knowledge in this area, and I can be able to help. That is how it is done. So I found myself being appointed by the region, but because football is my passion and I love it because I love the game and I know where I came from in terms of football, and I said I could have a contribution in that, and therefore I said, okay, I can't go in that. So these are officers who are appointed, but in West Nile CDP we have people who are appointed, and there are people who are ex-coms. Those are, we have 2 or 3 ex-coms, and 2 of us are appointed, who do not belong to any team, and who are taking an independent decision as per the situation on the ground, in relation to the rules and regulations, the laws of the game, the provisions that are put in place, and the policies that are put in place, and the directives that are managing the game. These are things that we look into, we consider that, and we apply the rules and regulations and the laws to penalize a team. And that is how it is composed. Now, this is an independent panel. And this panel, if there is any complaint or any what do I say? Any situation where the verdict is disapproved or it is not liked by the people whom are punished, they have to go to the appeals committee. One fact is that the competitions committee has no authority to overturn the decisions of the disciplinary committee.
The CDP?
Yes. Of the disciplinary panel. They have no authority to overturn it. And the people who can overturn are the appeals committee.
Okay.
These are judiciaries. The CDP panel is a panel of judiciaries. And you know how it works.
True.
You see? If a court is already ruled at a grade 2 level, then it is the higher court that is more than the grade 2 that can turn down the decision.
Yeah, true.
And therefore it is not the competitions committee.
Okay.
That's the fact on ground.
All right. I would love Susie to wind it up. Our time is up, and just like at least we've broken different departments that you have, and we still have a lot that we needed to discuss, but time is money right here.
I think the guests will have to frequent this station so that we don't run against time, or unless otherwise. There are games that went down yesterday, by the way. In 4th League Division games, there was one decider of the champion from there is a Southern Zone where we had Airfield tussling it out with Nyaya, and that game ended on a 0-0. It was played in Giaco. And then today, in a Northern Zone, we'll have Daystar playing. There is Mvara Boys in the side also for who stays as the champions over the Northern Zone, as Alpha Rising Stars in Regional League also travels to play. There is a Padea, and that game is very decisive. They have miraculously moved out of there is the red zone, and if they pick today's 3 points, trust me, they will be pushing closer to the likes of Arua City and the rest that have literally been doing okay.
Okay, I would give 1 minute to my guest to wind up. Also to the viewer, you can summarize as we end this today's event.
Thank you so much, Owen, and thank you. I appreciate what the West Nile TV is doing, and I'm so grateful to them, and I'm so grateful to you to have given me time to come and share with the viewers. And I think indeed it is true. There are a lot of things that we will be able to share and discuss with them. And if time comes, I will always be present. I will see how best I can come and share with our viewers. In any case, there's any contentious information that we need to discuss with the viewers to understand, because it is our duty. I'm an educationist, and therefore I need to let people know what is right and what is wrong. And therefore, if you call me at the right time, I'll be able to come. Thank you so much. May God bless West Nile TV.
Thank you so much also for coming through, because it's been one of the biggest thing that we expected from you. Yes, we should say we have just given like 0.5% of what is with him. So we shall be coming with a lot more, because there's still a pile of them that we shall be